Hello, viewers. Welcome back. This is our first show, fourth episode of BaatShaat. We are back. We are here now on YouTube, not on Facebook. For those, thank you so much that have followed us on Facebook. I really appreciate that. You've seen, over 100,000 views. We have gone to a point where we have to bring it to a platform where there's a bigger scope of the viewership, and this is why we're here. But having said that, today is a very special show. India versus Australia. What a game that was! And I have with me, as usual, Lucky Singh. And today we're going to be joined by Yash Khandor. Welcome, Lucky.
Hi, Salman.
Hi, welcome.
Good to
Yash.
see you.
Good to see you too.
How are you guys? Good to see you guys.
Good. So Lucky,
Good,
as you
good.
all know, Lucky and I have been doing this for a while, but we are very, very proud to and very excited that today Yash Khandor has joined us from ICN360. If you guys don't know what ICN360 is, International Cricket Network 360. If you don't know already, go on Facebook, follow Yash's page, ICN360. Excellent content. I've been following it for at least a month or two now. And excellent content. Yash produces quite a lot of very valuable videos for cricket lovers and passionate cricket fans in the States as well as across the globe. So, Yash, welcome.
Thank you, Salman. Thank you for having me. Hi, Lucky. Nice to have you here. Very nice to meet you. I'm excited.
Same here. Same here. Yash.
So, what a day we have picked today. India versus Australia. It was supposed to be a big game.
It turned
It
out to
was
be
indeed a big game. Yes.
So, I'll start with you, Lucky, very quickly. What did you expect this result at all?
See, I already told you, each and every team is going with the batting lineup, right? So the more you stay on it, the more the runs will be.
So, yes,
Definitely, Australia lost, but they scored 300 plus two, right?
just
So,
for the
yes.
record, Yash, 4 out of 4 predictions have been right so far. Lucky.
There
You
you
won't
are,
believe
right?
I got 4 out of 4 right on ICN as well. So that's a good.
There you are. Good.
So, Yash, what about you? Did you expect this result?
Definitely, I did expect the result. It kind of went the way I was thinking, and the advantage, big advantage for India was the fact that they batted first. Good toss to win, good decision to bat. I wasn't 100% sure about Bhuvaneshwar Kumar being picked above Mohammad Shami on a wicket which is this flat because he's excellent under overcast conditions and the ball swinging. But when it comes to flat wickets, he goes for runs. But today was a different day. He proved all the analysts, all the experts wrong. And I mean, Kohli's captainship was spot on as well. Excellent batting. Perfect game for India.
Exactly. And I know we're here to talk about India, but the Pakistani in me will come out for 30 seconds. How big was this win for Pakistan? Lucky, you and I have been talking about Pakistan's chances. How big was this? Because Australia was on the rise.
Exactly. Yes. They won against England, right?
Yeah,
On the practice match. They were in a streak of winning 13 to 14 games internationally. So
absolutely.
they were on high. And so this pattern, I always tell you, like this league is such, now you don't know who is going to do what.
Well, that's exactly it.
It by winning again against Australia today, India already made a huge impact, saying yes, we are also there now. So it's wide open again.
And that's an excellent point by you, Salman and Lucky, both of you. Like, how important is it for other teams? I mean, obviously, with the context, India is strong. It's number 3. It still has one more game to play. Yes, but it opens up the table a lot because Australia, when they started the tournament, they are a team that will easily walk into the playoffs or the semis, especially in a format like this. So this loss is going to open up the table a lot, and that's the beauty of this format. I feel when every team has a chance to come back, even a team like South Africa, which has lost the first 3 games, they still have a chance to come back because of the nature of the tournament.
So, yes, you know what? You raise a good point. And Lucky, you can raise a good point. 14 wins on the trot. Australia didn't lose. How much this... And then they lost pretty meekly today. Like, there was no fight. You know what I'm saying? So, how much would this dent their confidence moving forward, Lucky?
See, just one game, like for example, Pakistan,
Yeah.
they were just, devastated by West Indies, right? See how they came back. So it's Australia. You cannot take Australia as granted. Yeah.
They're professionals.
They are professionals. They will forget the day. Like, see, the day before yesterday, we had a talk on starts, right? So if you go and don't give him wickets, that is what I said. Pakistan, Australia, that is what happened.
Yeah.
He gave away 71-ish runs, I guess,
Yeah.
10 overs. And see the situation of Australia. They could have scored 10, 15 more runs if Rohit Sharma and so-called 3 or 4 batsmen who were just taking singles and doubles and giving strike to Rohit. What was his name? Dhawan.
That was
Shikhar Dhawan. If they would have played the same way they play, instead of giving him strike, it could have been more runs added. But they didn't give wickets to Starks and Cummins. So this is where you land up every time you bat first. That's why I always say win toss will be a very, very big factor this time.
especially the way the pitches
And
are.
it is doing that. Just put on the big score, and the mentality of your chasing will totally get frustrated. Because it's already a World Cup game, and you know that you are chasing like 352 plus.
Absolutely.
So it gives you a mindset of like frustrated one,
That's exactly.
because you have to chase it, and that's where you make mistake while chasing it.
And yes, India had the bowling lineup too today to defend that.
Oh, definitely. They had a bowling attack. And anytime you score in excess of 350, it's not that easy. I know everybody says England wickets are flat, the grounds are smallish, everything agreed, but the other team is also out there to bowl. You might get one or two bowlers to the cleaners, but obviously there will be one odd bowler like it was Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Yuzvendra Chahal today who kept it tight. And that's where you lose the game. And I think the point that you mentioned about Australia, how much will it dent their confidence? Probably not the confidence, but it will definitely show them the defects that exist in their lineup. I was reviewing the Australian cricket team with one of the other YouTube channels called Mindful Mug, and there I mentioned Australia is a phenomenal lineup, but that middle order, right? If Warner and Finch, one of them don't strike big quickly, they have a very similar kind of number three, number four, number five. I know Maxwell can go crazy, but he needs that platform. Unfortunately, today Smith and Khwaja, they both played a very similar kind of innings, but at that time they wanted one person to take or to the opposition because Warner did not get off to the start that he would have liked to. And in that scenario, it's very important for you to have somebody like a Sean Marsh at number 4, I feel.
So yeah, you raise a very good point. Go back to Pakistan and England game. Joe Root and Butler, when they were going nuts, I mean, they were going crazy. Striking. All of a sudden, the similar kind of a target, it looked chaseable. Here, when Smith or Khwaja were batting, they were playing the normal game. There was no taking the attack to India, none of that. And if you look at what Kohli did, Kohli realized that, and guess who he brought back? Bumrah.
Right. Absolutely. Right. And it's all about the intent. A lot of times, I've been cut slack, and people have been critical of me raising this point when I'm big into intent. I believe a lot in intent, and people say you talk a lot about intent, but that does not work. But trust me, it does. Imagine Hardik Pandya coming in at number 4 above KL Rahul and MS Dhoni.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
he was dropped off the first ball, but I think the difference between the two teams today was the Hardik Pandya innings.
Yeah,
that was the difference. 24 ball, 48. That's what Australia did not have. And that was the difference of those 30, 40 extra runs that India could manage.
And honestly, Pandya has a heart of a lion.
He's come back like he wants to play.
Exactly.
If you guys remember 4 or 5 years back, Abdul Razak used to bat anywhere, right?
Right.
That's what Pandya.
They were given license to kill.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
now is the one that is called Hardik Pandya. Just go and smash. Whatever happens, doesn't matter. Even if you see like 3 wickets fell off in a certain 3 or 4 overs, right?
Yeah.
But what happened? They got Rahul coming in. Kedar Jadhav was still waiting, right?
Yeah.
And guys, on top of that, can you imagine Virat Kohli just taking singles and giving a strike to the one who is striking 100 plus ODIs?
Yeah,
so
and
that is the intent. That is the intent. One of the intent, like he's playing the gem. Everyone thinks like he's going to come and score 100. Do you remember, Salman? I told you 3 guys who can give hundreds to India. These 3 are the first ones. Rohit Sharma in 1 game, Dhawan in the 2nd game. Now, if you see Virat Kohli, he's somewhere near to that.
Well, hopefully he doesn't do it in the next game because that's against Pakistan.
I think the next is New Zealand. The next is New Zealand. I was about to say that. The next New Zealand.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Yes.
There you go. So yeah, it definitely affects when you have that intent. What intent or imagination you have when you are coming into the pitch. We can see that Virat Kohli was so cool to take singles, doubles, and just giving away the strike to Dhawan because he was doing good. So that is what the change comes when you play according to the game.
Yeah.
Not like Virat Kohli has to score 100 and India should win. If you see there, see 57, 117, 82, 48, 27, and that 3 ball 11 run, everyone did their part, right? So
Yep.
this is what, Salman, do you remember I was talking about South African game?
Yeah.
That these guys were taking a lot of time to bat, to stay on the pitch. Now this is what is happening, see.
Yeah.
Now their morale will be so high when they go to the next match because they are already getting into it.
Exactly.
Everyone got so many balls to play. See that first Rohit Sharma, 101 minute. Dhawan 160 with 63 minute. Kohli 128, 41, 20. So everyone has, focused that we want to stay on the pitch.
Yeah. Well, Lucky, if I was to point at something, look at this. If you look at this, Yash, I'm going to raise this point with you.
Okay.
Look at this right here. The boundaries. Pandya, 7 boundaries in 27 deliveries, and Kohli, 6 boundaries. So I think what Lucky is saying makes a lot of sense. They had a plan. It seems like for both games they've had a plan. They're not trying to overdo. They know they have such an explosive lineup. Even I think again I agree with Lucky. Rohit Sharma and Kohli played within themselves. They did not go crazy. Yet they scored 350.
And
See,
that's the
this is
beauty of this 50-over game. Sorry, Lucky. That's the beauty of this 50-over game. And because of T20 cricket, what players are doing these days is they're not going bang, bang, bang up front. They know we need to play ourselves in. If at the end of the 30th over we have enough wickets in hand, we have the lineup to do it. And that's the problem with Australia. Why was Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma able to take those singles? Is because they had the Hardik Pandya, the MS Dhonis, and the KL Rahuls at the other end. But what about Australia? They didn't have anybody. Khwaja
No.
and Smith. I have a very interesting statistics for you guys actually. If you see from the 11th over when Kuldeep Yadav came into bowl all the way through the 35th or the 37th over, if my calculations are right, Australia scored at a run rate of only 5.3 or 5.4.
Oh
yeah,
boy.
the game was killed over there. Yes, the game was
that's
killed over
the
there.
middle overs you
Exactly.
talk about. Those are the overs, 25 overs of spin bowling and medium pace bowling and whatever with only 4 fielders out. The last 10 overs have 5 fielders out. That's when you need to capitalize. And I've been saying this time and again on other shows. It is the middle overs that will win you games. The first 10 and the last 10, all teams will hit you. But it's the middle overs. People who score in excess of 6.5 runs per over in those middle overs will more often than not get those 350s. Otherwise, you will end up with the 310s, 320s, and that's what will be chaseable at one point. But
So-
350 is slightly difficult.
So Yash, correct me if I'm wrong, because I remember 40 overs they were at 237.
Approx.
And
Yeah, that's about
115 runs scored in last 10 overs.
Yes, that's what India did. And I think Australia tried to mimic them. But unfortunately, they did not realize that when you are chasing a target, there is a pressure of chasing the target, as opposed to when you're batting first, you're just free and you go after everything. Here, the pressure of the mathematics of getting those runs is always in your head.
Yeah, exactly. Lucky, look at the strike rates. We talked about it last time around against South Africa. It seems like I think what Yash and you guys are talking about, they have a plan to consolidate towards the top. Play, run a ball, and look at the strike rates. Right? I mean, Rohit Sharma at that strike rate, that's not Rohit Sharma. That's not the Rohit Sharma that I know. And
But
even I
that
think
is where
Dhawan-
137, 127 for first wicket in 22 overs. See,
That's exactly.
he
Yeah.
scored 57 from 70 balls. Still, they were at 6 per over.
And that's why you win.
That is the class of partnerships. That is the class of partnerships. And if you see everywhere, it's same. The second partnership is also the same way. If you see,
Same way.
it was Hughes, right? So these guys, they come on, guys. These guys are now professionals. We are talking about professionals, right? So when you enter a pool like this, a wide, dangerous pool like this, that if you lose one match, you are in big trouble. You cannot take risk like T20s, right? So you take it to the end, to the depth
So-
of the game, that is 50 overs.
So I have a question for both of you. India played a lot of T20s before they came into the World Cup, correct? Do you think there's a fear that if the first 3 don't stay on the wicket for long enough, the rest will go in T20 mode? This is conspiracy theory, call it whatever. What do you think, Yash?
I will say first no, because if you remember, KL Rahul, Kedar Jadhav, MS Dhoni. These guys are the classy players who can take the game till the 50 overs.
All
We are
rounders.
not
Yeah.
talking about those guys who come and score and
Oh,
get away.
Bhuvanesh Kumar is no different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So if you calculate up to there, they have eight batsmen. So yeah, definitely a worst day like Pakistan had. It might be like the same with India or somebody else coming in for a day. Like, yeah, Virat Kohli goes for zero, top batsman goes 10, 15, whatever. So immense pressure comes. But these guys like Dhoni, Rahul, and Jadhav, these guys are not to be taken as granted. These guys are so good. That is why they are into this lineup. They are not touching anybody here. They are just calculating, okay, if Kuldeep Yadav is not working, I'll bring some other bowler. But they are
Yeah.
not touching their batting lineup
That's
just
true.
because runs are flowing out there. And it's not going to be the whole team suffering from that.
No, no. Yash, what do you
Yeah.
think?
So
Conspiracy
coming,
theory.
that's a you're playing the devil's advocate
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
And that makes sense. So let me bring to your notice the warm-up game against Bangladesh.
Okay.
What happened there? I think they were 80 or 90 for 4 wickets down, very quick wickets up, or maybe even lesser. And then you
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah,
centuries
yeah,
from KL Rahul
yeah.
and MS Dhoni. The beauty of having KL Rahul at number 4, even before he was on that flight to London, people were arguing with me. I can show you text messages on WhatsApp. I've been abused by people from my cricket team here. And they're like, why will you play Rahul? He's just not justifying himself. You have to give Ambati Rayudu or Dinesh Karthik a chance. They've been proving themselves. But imagine, put these players on paper and tell me which player comes across to you as a player who is very complete. And it is KL Rahul. I mean, that's why he bats at the top in other teams. Of course, in India, he doesn't get a chance because of the brilliance of Rohit Sharma, Shikhar Dhawan, and Virat Kohli in the top 3. But he's a solid number 4 batsman. The
So,
only time I'll be worried with India is when you get a pitch which is a little greenish, overcast conditions, and bowlers like Trent Bolt and Saudi. You saw that again in the warm-up games.
that's
Because in that scenario, you are not capitulating because of your T20 instincts, which is your question. So the answer to that is no. But when it comes to challenging batting conditions, I mean, any team can fail, not just
oh,
India.
yeah.
You can even have Australia being bowled out for 87. I
Well,
remember.
they were in trouble against West Indies not too long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what happens.
So, question. You know what? That's a very good point. You talked about Dinesh Karthik. To me, if I was, following the Indian team, I would actually pick Dinesh Karthik over KL out. So for me, it's a surprise to see him.
For me, no, I would still go with KL Rahul. He's a more complete player. When you have 15 runs, 3 wickets down, or 2 wickets down because he comes in at number 4, do you want Dinesh Karthik to walk in?
No. I think I think what I'm doing is when you have the quality of Rohit, Dhawan and Kohli who can take the game to 35 overs, you need someone like Dinesh Karthik who can really turn it around.
Yeah, but
Pandya
Rahul at
is Karthik.
I think the only reason is KL Rahul. 3 reasons actually. One, better fielder than Dinesh Karthik
Yeah.
goes a big way. Number 2, if you are 2 down in the first 2 overs, he is still an opener, so he'll come out and play the new ball well. And number 3, he still has the explosive game like you saw today. 3 balls, 11 runs. First ball he hit for a 6, second for a 4, and third a single. He will give you that option as well. So he has a lot more variety and completeness to his game. So I would pick him at number 4. And you have too many finishers in Dhoni, Pandya. You have Jadeja if he plays as well. So I think Karthik doesn't make the cut of the team.
Lucky, what do you think?
I will go with KL Rahul too.
Lucky was shaking his head when I said that. So he went off the screen, and I'm like, oh boy,
See,
what have I done?
it's harsh for Karthik right now.
Yeah,
but
it is.
honestly, to win a World Cup for India right now, I can see these are the guys who can lead. You need a leader when you come into the team. No doubt, he is a classy batsman too.
I
But
just
that is
think
what the
Karthik has
difference is.
never been given the full run. That's what I think.
That's probably just unfortunate in terms of the time that he was born. I mean, that's all I can say.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
did have his chances, trust me. Even before MS Dhoni came into the picture, Dinesh Karthik did have a couple of chances. He did not make the most of it.
Oh, yeah, that's
He
true.
grabbed it with both hands.
2004, 2005, he's been playing for a long time for India.
Yeah, he's been playing for a long, long time.
2005, he
Around
debuted.
the circuit for I think he played the Under-19 World Cup along with Ambati Rayudu in
2004. 2004.
Exactly. Ambati Rayudu was the captain and Karthik was the keeper then.
Yeah.
I mean, MS Dhoni was just somewhere around at that time. He wasn't a big name.
Yeah.
But he didn't do himself good at that point. So
Wow, that's true. Oh, at that time there were Lakshman, there was Ganguly, there was Sachin.
Plus,
Actually,
if
there
you
wasn't a
guys
keeper
see,
because there wasn't a keeper. He could have come
Yeah,
in
he
because he
could
was
have.
a keeper.
He came as a keeper. That's so true. Yeah,
plus if you could remember, guys, there is a very big name missing out in the squad that was always there in everyone's mind.
I know.
Rahane,
Oh,
right?
Mane. Okay. Hmm.
He was a complete batsman too.
He was a
But
complete
that is what is making a lot of buzz around the world, like why KL Rahul or why Dinesh Karthik in the team. So there is
3D, 3D,
there is a lot of
3D.
stuff. This is the beauty of Indian cricket team right now,
Like he
that
was
they
a
have
2D,
such big,
2D.
huge names to take out from.
He was a two-dimensional player. Like you forgot the third dimension.
Oh man.
I think Rihane's problem was the swing. The swing. If the ball swings, Rihane, because he's naturally a front foot player, and he was pushing himself too early into the shot. You saw Asia Cup against Amir. You've seen it against New Zealand. You saw it against England. So I think that's probably did it for him. Even though he was, I think, a better player.
For me, Rahane technically is probably one of the top two or top three players in the Indian lineup.
Agreed.
But when it comes to one day cricket, I think Rahane is just made for Test match cricket. I mean, he just went to play county for the first time, got a century on debut for Hampshire. That's the kind of cricketer he is. Takes time, plays the classical strokes. When it comes to limited overs cricket, I feel sorry every time. I honestly feel very sorry every time I see him play for Rajasthan Royals. It's just not the Rahane. He scores that one extraordinary century with all the correct strokes, but the other time he's trying to hit the ball hard. He's trying to go after the bowling, which is not his game. He looks very ugly. He's out of shape. So for me, Rahane technically very sound. Test matches, yeah, hands down, you have
Yeah.
to claim he's your number five. But when it comes to one day, you probably need that X factor in a batsman, which comes from players like KL Rahul for that matter. Rahane would be good if every time you are playing in a difficult batting condition and 250, 240 is what you are looking at, then he's a good player. But when you're looking at 300, 340, 320 run scores, he turns out to be a liability, unfortunately.
Yeah, so what, Lucky, what went wrong for Australian bowling?
See, I gave you this
Look at
topic,
Stark.
Starts, right?
Yeah,
If you leave the best bowler among these guys is Starts, who is the
yeah,
match winner for them or a
totally.
match loser. Now, what happened is, see this: Maxwell, Zampa, and Stoinis. These are not their regular bowlers.
No, remember we talked about it last.
Exactly. So this is where every team will exploit them. Definitely, yes. The time there used to be a time like there were Brett Lee, Damon Fleming, and then
Magra.
McGrath, right? And
Mhm.
then used to come a
Shane Warne.
world-class spinner,
Shane
Shane
Warne.
Warne, right? If the swing is not working, if the pace is not working, spin will work.
Lucky they
Now
didn't need
that
more
is
than
where
40 overs to bowl a team out.
Zampa, I am pretty much sure that Zampa will be dropped and Leon will be coming in.
Much
So,
much better batsman and a bowler.
yeah, correct. And if you look at those three, right, it's 20 overs, 157 runs between those
Exactly.
20
See,
overs.
and you know what? This is yes, this is the time that you were talking about. The middle overs to be taken as
Exactly. I was
six,
coming to
six
that.
and a half, seven, and
Yeah.
Indians were doing
8 runs
awesome
per
at
over.
that time.
Exactly.
And you know what?
That's where
One
the
more
game
thing
is
to add
lost.
on.
Mhm.
Australia won against Bangladesh.
No,
Oh no, England.
England.
England won it,
The
right?
warm up game.
But no. The last game, England
Yeah,
won against Bangladesh, right?
Bangladesh, yep.
But did you see Bangladesh also scored 290-ish runs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Same
this is
problem.
the beauty right now. If you see, there is always a lagging behind point related to these aspects of two or three bowlers that can be killed.
Yeah.
So that you have to think about X factor, what we call.
Yes.
If you don't have it, like they don't have it, Australians don't have it. They have to go with the same bowling attack what they have. Either Maxwell will bowl 7 to 8 or 9 or 2 overs. Then comes Jampa doing 8 overs, and then Stoinis 10 overs maybe because Coltonire got hit for 90s, right? So they don't have that 7x factor that they could use. Like India can use that Kedar Jadhav. They
yeah.
have it.
He's a
See,
he's a proper bowler.
exactly. According to them, they are all rounders. Hardik Pandya, Jadhav. These both are the all rounders for Indians
But
for the
Lucky they
time
can
being.
play they can play on the basis of bowling or batting in any team.
Yes, yes. So this is where the exact point that Yash produced was the middle overs that went for six and a half for Indians. That is where they didn't let these guys come. Okay, come and bowl us 10 overs. No, see 6, 7, 7. They were distributed and see 45, 50, and 62. Oh
So
my God,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
somewhere around 157 runs. See,
Right,
So
which is 8 runs per over,
exactly.
and I think
that
India
is what was
is
needed.
very lucky to have two leg spinners who are in the prime form right now, and they're one of the finest in the world.
They're
I mean,
both
not
slightly
all
different.
can have the liberty, right? Not everybody can have a Yuzvendra Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav bowling in tandem, and then you have a Hardik Pandya kind of fast bowling all rounder, and the Kedar Jadhav who can always come in and bowl those special deliveries. So obviously India is lucky to have that balance. England also has that balance with Liam Plunkett and the Jofra Archers, the Mark Woods and the Wokes and Moeen Ali,
And
Adil
then
Rashid.
structure.
They have a
Yeah,
lot of
great
Adil
bowling lineup.
Rashid,
comes
Adil
down to
Rashid.
the depth. And like even with India, they technically speaking, they only have six bowlers like Australia. The fact that Bumrah, Bhuvi, and the leg spinners bowl so well, it is only that fifth bowler that has to share its overs with the sixth one.
Yeah,
Unfortunately for Australia, they only have three full-time proper bowlers. I mean,
exactly.
Zaha is a proper bowler, but on his day he's phenomenal. But
Yeah,
like today, he can go for so many runs. You don't want
absolutely.
a Maxwell to bowl more overs than your prime leg spinner Zampa, right? But that's just an
Absolutely.
off day. So that's one thing that Australia will have to cope up with. They will win more or less always, but when it comes against a big team like India and who are smart enough to not give their prime bowlers, their strike bowlers, the early wickets, and then it's going to be costly.
So Yash, look at this. I mean, Lucky raised a point last show. Lucky said the biggest weakness Australia has, they have four bowlers that can deliver 40 overs. They always have to find 2 to 3 people to finish the last 10, and that's their weakness. And Lucky said that'll be the weakness against Pakistan. We saw that Lucky again here. So Yash, look at this. I mean, when you're looking at this, Glenn Maxwell has never bowled a quarter of 10 overs unless he gets super lucky. Stoinis is not a proper all-rounder. Like he's either a batsman or bowler. Zampa and Lucky, I think you said last week that he shouldn't be playing full games. They should bring Nathan Lyon. So,
Exactly.
this is where the struggle is. Mitchell Stark, the key part is that Mitchell Stark had given only 31 runs away in the first 5 overs.
Yeah. He was decimated in the 2 overs.
Two
Kohli
overs.
hit for magnificent sixes. So did Dhoni. I mean, these
What
are
a six Dhoni hit, man. Oh,
yeah. So Dhoni took him apart. He scored like 10, 14 or 10 or
See,
14 runs.
he did.
Yeah.
see, guys, what happened was there was no impact for any batsman who were on the pitch that starts is going to come and bowl. There was no impact because they were already scoring at 6, 6.5, 7.
Yeah.
So the impact was gone. He just came and they just delivered him out.
Yeah.
Just smashed him everywhere.
So,
So,
so
so that is what it is. You don't lose wickets, and you are somewhere around 6 or 7 runs each over coming in, and then anybody comes, whoever comes, they
yeah.
go for runs.
So Lucky, you know what you
Definitely.
said last show? If the problem with Australia is if Stark doesn't perform, there's nobody there to put his hand up in the bowling lineup. And this is precisely what happened today. Because
It's
Nathan Courtnall went for 71 runs in the last game against West Indies, took no wickets. Now he's given 63 again for 1 wicket. So 120 overs, 130 plus runs for 1 wicket. That's not the first change bowler you need.
see, my prediction was sorry, yes, I'm just cutting you.
Yeah.
My prediction is Australia, whoever it plays with, they will win because of their batting.
Australia.
Yeah, because it used to be we used to say like they have 4 or 5 bowlers who will give them, definitely 1 or 2 will give them 4 for 5 first. There used to be, but when you see this one, they are still dependent on starts. If
So-
this guy doesn't work, they are gone.
So, you know what? Question for Yash. Yash, what do you think next game is against Pakistan? What would be their biggest worry for Australia for bowling? Because Pakistan is a generally weaker lineup than batting lineup mentally than India is.
Well, so that's 2 points to this. One,
Yeah.
traditionally, Pakistan is a better bowling lineup than a batting lineup.
Absolutely.
But this time it's different. I feel it is a stronger batting lineup as compared to the bowling lineup that they have. They
Oh.
have Amir, they got the bowlers, but still, it's not the जो कहते हैं ना खौफ, it doesn't have the खौफ of a Wasim Akram or a Waqar
No,
Younes.
no, there's no X factor. There's no X factor.
There is nothing. Mohammad Amir also is just a normal Mohammad Amir. He's not the 18-year-old who used to
No, no, that
swing
came.
crazy and bowl at 150 and go near your throat.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, it's a very good batting lineup. For Australia, the problem they now have is they have very good reserve backup fast bowlers in Jason Behrendorff and Kane Richardson. But the problem is Nathan
It welcome.
Wood just scored a 92 in the previous game and won
That's
them.
a problem.
That is a big problem. And in this game, their middle order faltered. So what I am thinking is they would be very tempted to get in a better bowler, but just because the batting is not strong enough, and like Lucky said, the batting has to win it for them. But how often do you expect a batting to chase down 350? It doesn't happen every day. So your bowlers have to step up if you are banking on the bowlers. So for the batting, I think the difference will be Khwaja moves out and Sean Marsh comes in at 4, and then you have to play Steve Smith at 3. Man, he's born to play at number 3. You cannot fidget around with him. He is a superb number 3 player. Let him play his game, let him build up, and then he will give you those runs. He'll get you 50s every time. He'll start slow, but then he can accelerate. He will fold you fold at one end, and then you need Marsh to be free flowing at the other end. They might be tempted to get in Lyon, like Lucky said, instead of Zampa. I still like the wrist spinner more, but if he's not performing and going for runs one too many, I think against Pakistan, they will still go with the leg spinner because knowing the batting of Pakistan and the mindset of a lot of batsmen in that lineup, they like to hit. They're more of a basher kind of batsman. The top three are very good. Like I really like Imamullah, Fakhar Zaman, and Babar Azam. But if those three don't perform, like one of them has to go on to score the big scores. I think Babar Azam is the most important person in that batting lineup at number 3. But if one of them doesn't, like if either of them do not perform, then that lineup is a little shaky. I
It's a
know
little shaky. Yeah.
Professor Hafiz always comes up and saves the games. Shoaib Malik is brilliant, but still, you needed that wrist spinner against a lineup like Pakistan. They play spin really well, so you never know. But that's the other chain they might be tempted. Coulter Nile might just get one more game before he's dropped, and they obviously have the lefty Jason Behrendorff or Kane Richardson, who are both really good bowlers.
And Kane Richardson is a much better bowler.
He's a very good bowler when it comes to middle overs. And that's one of the places where they are lacking.
That's where they're lacking.
Nile coming in the middle overs, leaking runs at 8 runs per over is not acceptable.
No.
I mean, you can't give 6.5 or 7 runs per over when you're bowling in overs 10 to 40. You're not bowling the first 10, nor are you bowling the last 10. You have to be within that 6 runs per over mark.
Yeah. Lucky,
Salman, here is another thing.
What?
Where is the match being played between these two teams?
That's a very good question. You know what? That's a very good question, Lucky. Lucky always asks me these tough questions.
It's not a tough one.
Lucky, while I look it up, I have a question for you. Look at David Warner and Smith. Okay? Look at their strike rates. That's not David Warner that I know. Or we know.
See, this is what Indians have done well. And Yash was telling you the same thing. Like, when you have that big target in your mind to chase, your mentality changes. And then you make mistakes, you get frustrated, right? And on top, when the bowlers are bowling good and the runs are not coming, this is what happens. It's not like you come every day and score hundreds. It never happens, right?
But
so
the question I'm trying to raise is, if you look at both David Warner and Stephen Smith coming back from the whole saga, ball tampering saga and the cheating scandal and all that stuff, they're subdued. They're not like just exploding like the way they used to be. You think there's some other factor playing on their minds right now where they're just not opening up?
I don't think so. They're very thorough professionals. You saw David Warner had the IPL of his lifetime. Smith has been phenomenal. I think Smith played very well. That's how he usually plays. But Warner, today was not just Warner's day. He didn't seem to be like the player that you usually see.
Lot of hit, lot of misses.
He was trying to play in the personality of somebody else. I think the thought of him trying to go and play all the 50 overs was in his mind. He was telling himself, I need to bat 30, 35 overs for Australia to win. I don't think that's the best way for him to approach the game. Agreed. And let me say this to one point that Lucky made that was very good. The bowling. Let's not take anything away from the Indian bowlers. They were excellent.
Exactly. Yes.
Absolutely.
You cannot.
batting very difficult.
Hands down.
They
The
made it
batting took
difficult.
off because of the batting quality.
That is why they had to chase like 19 overs. It was somewhere around 199 runs to score
Exactly.
at the end. So
So
that
don't
is
take
where the
anything
game
away
was
from the
killed.
bowling. But for David Warner, like he had to open up and play his natural game. His game is to go and play attacking, and he was trying to hit the ball a little too hard. I felt today he wanted to thrash the ball rather than just time it like he always does, and he always naturally has power. But all great players have odd days. That's the beauty of cricket,
That's
right?
true.
The
Yeah.
greatest of the players have the oddest of the days. A free flowing Rohit Sharma can get you 200, and then some other day even a 50 is a struggle for him. So
Yeah.
it's same thing with Warner, but great players have a great comeback. I'm expecting him to, sorry for you, Salman, but I'm expecting him to come back really strong against Pakistan. Trust me.
Okay, the
Well, I
same
hope they
topic
all
is
have an off day.
so they
Like big players.
so these guys are playing in the ground called Taunton.
Taunton,
Taunton.
yeah.
So it's a small ground,
All ground. High
capacity
score.
of only 6,500 people. So
And the interesting thing there is, sorry, Lucky, but that's the first game at that venue. So you don't even know what to expect from the pitch.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Is it going to
we
swing?
already had a talk on this that
Uh,
yeah, after very long, the last match was played there between England and I guess who.
2017 South Africa.
You can imagine that
2020 there was a
it's not
T20 played.
it's not a international ground. So now it can be anything in that ground,
So yes, just
anything.
to loop you in, the average score in the average T20 scores have been 190.
it is traditionally a batting ground. I was going to say that. I
Small
still,
boundary.
I still remember the 1999 World Cup. Sri Lanka versus India. India
Taunton.
were opening with Sadagopan Ramesh, who was out in the second or the third over, and
Yeah.
everybody's like, now what? And then there was a 300-run partnership, something like that, between Saurav Ganguly and Rahul Dravid. Ganguly, career highest of 183, not out, I guess.
Yeah, they scored I think
Rahul
339 or
Dravid,
something.
career highest of 145, decimated the Sri Lankan bowling,
Yeah.
which had the greats like Vikramasinghe, Chaminda Vas, Muralidharan, and everybody. But
Good bowlers. Yeah.
so it's traditionally a batting ground, like Lucky said, not a very famous international playing ground, smaller capacity, obviously smaller ground. And there's one thing about these English grounds. I was telling this, I mentioned this on the other show I did. Why is Kuldeep and Chahal so effective? It's not the pitch that's giving them too much assistance, right? Obviously, they are great bowlers, but and they are short-heighted, right? Usually, when people talk about spin
Oh
bowling,
yeah, you need
they
the
talk
height.
about Kumble and they talk about a lot of heighted players, and they say they extract a lot of bounce. And I mean, Chahal and Kuldeep are not tall, but there is a second aspect to spin bowling, leg spin bowling, which is the drift.
Drift.
Ground
Exactly.
in
Exactly.
England, if you see, they are not tall like the stands. If you see at Wankhede or the Eden Gardens or maybe Melbourne, they are pretty tall. They're like 5, 6, 7 story building height
Yeah.
stands. But when it comes to England, even if they have a 10,000 capacity, the stands are deep. They are not really high. So the wind movement is very different. The pressure
Exactly.
conditions are different. So if you are short in height, you can get the ball to skid, and then if you get that drift because of the wind, you're very effective. And that's
Absolutely.
where Chahal and Kuldeep have been very good for India.
Lucky, you know what? I was talking about Shami. How come he's out of the team? You're a Bhuvanesh Kumar fan. You think he proved this selection today?
See, yes, these are the points like when you're playing an international World Cup match, that is where getting thrashed from one end comes to the same place and you win in style, proving that why I was to be taken into the team.
Yeah.
That is Bhuvi for you.
Yeah.
He has
Beautiful.
that,
Absolutely.
the quality of bringing in, doing lots of things.
Lots of
No
things.
comparison with Shami. He has been doing very good. The only difference is he is much better with the new ball. That is the
Yes.
only difference.
See, lucky, but the problem with Bhuvi is the criticism is that if the ball doesn't swing, Bhuvi is ineffective.
But
But
he proved
today,
it wrong
the ball
today.
wasn't swinging. The ball wasn't swinging today.
And he
See,
proved everybody wrong. Yes.
Yeah.
see, in England, it's only one thing that I've been mentioning it. I will mention it till the end. Weather. If it is cloudy and it rains, each and every team, whoever it is,
Has
even
a
in Afghanistan, they will go with their three or four pace bowlers,
pace ballers.
right? And if you see the other way around, if for example England is also winning the games, they are getting scored like 300s.
Yeah,
having all those good bowlers with
yeah.
their
Everybody's throwing
own
Sri
spoil
Yeah,
ground, right? So what is happening is the pitches are favoring the batsman. So somehow what happens is if you lose your length, line and length, hell lot of runs.
so you
And
know
we
what?
have
You two talked about the variety England has. Lucky you talked about the variety England has, and Yash, you were talking about India. If you look at it, I think this is where, if you talk about favorites of the World Cup, Australia, England, India, I would pick India and England as the two favorites, not Australia, because Australia doesn't have that variety. But in the bowling lineup, right?
yes, yes, exactly,
You
yes.
can fill up the teams with any batsman till the 11, you'll be fine. But the variety in bowling to actually stand up to that kind of hitting or power hitting, that's the quality of the bowler. And I think England and India have that covered.
Now this is the most important aspect in this World Cup because you guys are getting 9 matches to play, right?
Yeah.
So it's fluctuating every match if you see. Like
Yeah, oh yeah,
we
oh
were talking about this, like India should win this, Australia loses, Pakistan has a high up, that
yeah.
okay,
Yes.
now Australia lost it. Now
This is
tomorrow,
good
day
for
after
Pakistan.
tomorrow,
This is very
when
good for
India plays to
Pakistan.
New Zealand, right now New Zealand is 3-3, right? So if India wins, it's three, and New Zealand loses, some other teams will say, okay, now we got a chance again because they are losing. Like it's not being like one team only winning like 4 or 5 games and they stayed, okay, we are fine now, we already have 10 points, we are done. No, it's still wide open because every team is getting lost a single match except they played only two.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm just gonna go a little off topic, Yash. Here, you covered Afghanistan in one of your shows before the World Cup. What is wrong with them? A lot of promise. They're
That's
giving
what
points
happens,
away.
right? Big tournaments, big pressure, and other teams come really hard at you, right? Like they don't come any weak against you. I think the game against Sri Lanka, that was theirs to win. If
Oh,
they had won that game, that would have been much better for them in terms of confidence, in terms of their outlook for the tournament. And that was a bad loss, I feel. I mean, Australia, obviously, Australia, the kind of team it is, it
it
will
is
just
Australia.
bully others who are not in their league. And that's what they did to Afghanistan. I still am a very firm believer in Afghanistan. I really, really like the talent that they have and the passion with which they play, and they have some really good bowlers. And that's what, if you saw that show where I covered Afghanistan cricket, I did mention realistically, if they end up seventh in this competition, they should be more than happy, which means they need to win 2 games or maybe 3 games for that matter. And that is also subject to the fact that the ball is spinning. There's nothing happening on those wickets, and I don't see anything happening on those wickets anymore going ahead in the World Cup because it rains continuously there. The conditions are overcast. The sun is not baking down, so it's a very different summer as compared to the one that was last year when
Yeah,
India toured England, where Kuldeep was really powerful. So was Chahal. Jadeja was getting the grip and turn. So was Ashwin. All of that is not happening anymore. So
no,
it's very difficult for Afghanistan. What's going wrong for them is that their top order is not firing.
no.
It's very important in a 50-over game. You don't want to wrap up, and that's why they are a much better T20 side as opposed to a 50-over side because their bowling and batting both is good for T20s. You have those wrist spinners, the mystery spinners. If you try to go and hit them, you're going to get out, and that's what happens in T20s. But in one-day internationals, you don't need to do that. You
No.
go and play out a Mujibur Rahman and a Rashid Khan and a Mohammad Nabi for 30 runs in 5 overs. Guess what? Now Afghanistan is in a fix. And so Rashid will try to do something, Nabi will try to do something. That's when you get the loose balls. And then even they get hit. And that's a very, very perfect plan procedure that you can follow against Afghanistan. I hope they will fight back. They have a very good coach in Phil Simmons. So I'm expecting them to, I think, sorry, Jimmy Adams was it, or Phil
Give
Simmons.
me Nisham. Nisham.
Sorry?
New Zealand, you took
No,
five
no,
wickets,
no.
right?
The coach, I'm saying, the coach of Afghanistan. I
Phil
forgot.
Simmons. Phil Simmons.
Phil Simmons, right? Yeah, exactly. So he's a very sharp coach.
Oh, yeah, he's a sharp
So,
man.
so I'm expecting them to come back strong with respect to that. But their batting has to fire. Mohammad Shahzad is gone. So they have a backup keeper in Ikram Ali Khil, because of which the balance is a little off and they play Noor Ali Zadran at the top. So I know it's one of the World Cups where you want Afghanistan to win 2 games at least.
Let me just
25th, they were flat. They looked flat thus far, but they have a good enough 4 or 5 day gap. So I think they will recuperate. The interesting game I want to see is their game against West Indies
yeah,
and their game against Bangladesh.
yeah. Yeah.
because Bangladesh is a very strong team. They are in very good form right now.
Yeah.
They're going to scare a lot of, and also against, South Africa.
South Africa, they have a chance. Yeah.
Africa is in a lot of mental tangle with AB de Villiers trying to come back into the side and offering help, whatever crap that's happening with South African cricket right now. But Afghanistan might sniff something there as well.
You know what, Lucky? One of my fear is Yash wants every team to come back strong that has to play Pakistan still. It's starting to scare
I
me.
didn't even mention Pakistan, but yeah, I mentioned South Africa, West Indies, and Bangladesh. But yeah, even Pakistan,
Yeah.
because these are unpredictable teams.
They beat Pakistan in a warm-up game, Lucky.
They did. Yeah, they did. And that's the problem, right? This unpredictable batting lineup, they will give you 350s, 400s one day. The other day, they will give you only 150.
So, you know what? You can raise a good point. Lucky, do you think Afghanistan is pretty much like mini West Indies?
Well compared, though.
Because see, yes, Lucky, one of the things Lucky talks about West Indies, he says his biggest thing is, Lucky, you're always talking about it, that, they're all hitters. Shai Hope is the only technically correct batsman. And we saw a few games.
The one who will stand there for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, is Shai Hope.
I hope.
Gale is done.
God
Gale is
forbid.
done.
God
Doesn't even
forbid.
bend to score.
Doesn't stay there for 2 hours.
He
He's going to
doesn't.
stay there
Gale,
for 2 hours.
Gale doesn't even bend his knees to play a cover drive. He just waits, man. He's done. So
It's an uncovered cover drive.
When the catches are dropped and he goes for big. But
Yeah.
now, cricket has grown so much that none of the team takes anybody for granted now.
No.
They come with
It could be
plans.
anybody's day. It could be
They come
anybody's.
with plans.
Lucky, you know what's funny? They talk about Pakistan's unpredictability. I'm talking about the whole tournament's unpredictability at this point.
It is. It is. I told you from the beginning. You always ask me who are the favorites. I said not yet.
Not yet.
It is not yet. Yes, exactly. It's
This is
all
why we don't do pre-game shows. We do post-game shows.
Bangladesh has Bangladesh won one game, I guess, right?
Very easily.
But they are playing so awesome. They are losing in style. They're losing in style. It's not like Sri Lanka. It's not like South Africa we were talking about.
South Africa has not shown up to the World Cup yet.
Exactly. Now tomorrow is the day.
Completely
Tomorrow
disoriented.
is a very big day for them. If they, I'm telling you that
What are
I
they playing tomorrow?
cannot pronounce his name, Felu Kaveo or whatever. Sorry,
Felukwayo.
that guy
Felukwayo.
and Rabada. If these guys worked, I'm telling you, West Indies is going to be in trouble tomorrow. I'm telling you. Keep in mind, Salman Khan. I told you something today. Yes.
That'll be the fifth one.
Yeah, it should be. You know why? Because when you see the pattern of 50 overs for West Indies, you remember Chandrapal and Ram Naresh Sharwan?
Yeah, Saravan.
Yeah, they used to be so cool.
Yeah.
If it is 3 wickets gone, 4 wickets gone, they play for 50 overs. Now I challenge you, I bet you, these guys, they will score 6 ball, 15 runs, but they will give it the wicket and go. West
So,
Indians.
what, Lucky, while you're at this, question for you. New Zealand is sitting very pretty on top. 3 games, 3 wins. But they're yet to be challenged. They haven't played a challenging game yet.
Exactly. Yes. My point was all the big games are coming for them now.
Yeah,
But you
that's
know
why
what?
nobody's talking about New Zealand at this point.
See, the good thing that already has happened is they are sitting with 6 points now, relaxed.
The cushion is
Points
there. I don't know how long it's there for.
You know what? But literally, they might be thinking like the big games, wash out. One point. Makes sense, right? See, if you think tactically to go into the playoffs, this is what New Zealand wants now. They don't have to win it because they already got. Pakistan lost to that one point. They lost to Sri Lanka. Nobody wants to get lost against Sri Lanka. Now South Africa or what we call Afghanistan. So these points are granted for them, right? But when they are divided, then you are in a losing position already.
Because, New Zealand batting hasn't been tested at all.
It hasn't been, but the Bangladesh game, that
was a good
just
game.
because Bangladesh
true.
played
Good point.
some smart cricket, they pushed them all the way to the end.
7 wickets.
Barring Kane Williamson and Ross Taylor.
No,
they
but
are phenomenal form at this point. Williamson is still not the smoothest that he usually is. Ross Taylor, man, that
Yes,
You
if you
know
go back to
what
the
you said.
Bangladesh New Zealand game, they run
Uh-huh.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
Mushfiqur Rahim, the ball was heading into the stump. I have no idea why he put his gloves and knocked the bails off. And all
Yeah.
of a sudden, lucky that 63 for 2 should have been 60 for 3 became
See,
139 for 2.
this is the beauty, the quality of cricket. You don't take chance, I dance.
So they would have been in trouble.
Uh, I
This is
did
the
this
same.
Bangladesh preview before the
You
World Cup.
remember Rohit
I,
Sharma
Yeah,
against South Africa?
catches.
Catches, two catches, and then he was like, okay, I'm not doing anything else now.
Yeah, I'm just playing
He
my game.
went for 100. So
yes.
can you imagine? This is the beauty of cricket. You give me
Exactly.
a chance, I will dance. Very
Okay.
easy.
What? Yes, you were raising a point.
Yeah, I was saying. So when I did the Bangladesh pre-World Cup preview, whatever
Yeah, yeah.
I got abused a lot on social media by these Bangladesh fans because I called out Mushfiqur Rahim saying, "Man, this is the time he needs to step up and avoid the brain-fed moments. He has had way too
Many,
much brain-fed
many.
moments in this career, the decorated career that he's had. He needs to stamp his authority. He didn't do it in batting, but he did it in keeping this time."
3 runs needed of 4 balls. Mushfiqur Rahim throws his wicket.
Very
Not
unfortunate.
happened
And
earlier.
I say this because I believe a lot. Ever since Mohammad Ashraful used to play for Bangladesh, I've been supporting Bangladesh like I supported Afghanistan. Now I have lost hope of Bangladesh, and so people like get critical of me because I'm critical of Bangladesh, and I support Afghanistan more because I want them to grow as a nation,
Yeah.
as a cricketing nation. I mean, and you saw what happened, right? That one wicket would have been the game for Bangladesh.
Oh, the whole game would have changed.
Exactly, and that's what happens in a 300-run game in an ODI in a World Cup. World class players. How many times do you make the same mistake in different forms?
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't do much
Lucky
about
and I were talking about the Pakistan England game. The catch Babar Azam dropped of Joe Root. Lucky.
it.
14 runs.
Huge,
Changed the whole game.
See,
huge.
Butler is a classy batsman. He will
Classy
go
match.
for everything, right? He
Oh, yeah.
doesn't care how many wickets fell off. But to some extent, if Joe Root is gone,
The game is gone.
the class that he plays
Joe
with
Butler has no
wasn't there.
license to kill anymore.
after after Root, the class of that caliber wasn't there, right? So it means what could have happened was he might have scored 8 to 10 runs, but from the other side, wicket could have keep coming.
But I think Lucky, when you were talking about Rohit Sharma, catch is dropped. The batsman says, "This is my day."
Definitely, yes. He was positive. You see, I told you like he played for 216 minutes.
Yeah, a long innings, huge innings. Yeah, almost a whole inning.
It's 3 hours somewhere because he's a opener, right? So he ended up till the end. That is where India won easily because they were chasing a small target with no intention of losing wickets. When there was chance, they didn't take it, and what happened? He went scored big one.
And
So
the
I'm gonna,
beauty of that innings, sorry, the beauty of that innings was that it was not his traditional millionaire kind of innings.
Yes.
Right? He's not a
Yeah.
millionaire and he's spending his
He played
cash.
against.
He's a
He
hard
played
worker,
against his game. Yeah.
getting his runs, and that's why I think Virat Kohli went ahead in the post-match press conference and said this was Rohit Sharma's best century ever.
Exactly. Yes.
so
Makes sense.
you guys know, and a question for both of you: India is a hot favorite. To me, they're the hot favorites, right? Even bigger than England, to be honest. You think they're taking it easy on all of us? The
Not
way
they
they
are very focused. They are very clear in their plans.
Yeah.
I will be very interested to see we perform like India as a nation perform pathetic against New Zealand in ICC events. If there is one team, I think in this entire decade we have had 2 World Cups and this is the third one. We lost only 2 games.
both
One
That is New Zealand.
2011 against New Zealand.
really.
2015, the game that India lost in the semi-final against Australia. Only 2 games they lost in the World Cups in this entire decade. So one against New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I've seen always it's against New Zealand because New Zealand has that all-round game and they play spin particularly well in the middle order, which is very crucial against India. And
Ross
they
Taylor,
have
Ian Williams.
spinners against.
Williamson and Taylor
That's the thing.
to be targeted. That's it.
Lucky, you were talking about Ross Taylor not too long ago. You said the guy, he's in his late 30s, but he plays like he's a 21-year-old, 22-year-old.
Exactly. Look at his running between the wicket, man. He is as young as the younger guys in the world. You
Absolutely.
can ask them like, what is he doing? You cannot imagine, and he's scoring runs, big runs, at this age.
Yeah, I think, you know what? At this point, the appetite for the runs, I mean, you have to give him that.
Appetite, experience. He's bringing everything in. He's playing with full open-mindedness that is making him feel like, yes, I'm
And
playing
Kane,
my own
Kane
national game.
Williamson, Kane Williamson gets a lot of limelight. To me, Ross Taylor is the key. Fairly honestly,
He is
He
the
is, he is, no doubt.
he is the key.
he's the key.
He's the key.
So India, next game India, who were they playing?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. So
So
it's
like
so
my
that
usual thing, prediction.
it's Nottingham.
What's your
Fresh
prediction?
break. Again, 300 plus runs,
So
guys.
okay, if India bats is what you're saying.
350. They have to go because the second batting team will also score 300.
So I'm gonna go to the
Unless
New Zealand Bangladesh game. New Zealand, Bangladesh doesn't have a complete bowling lineup, yet they almost got the game. 7 wickets, 240.
yeah,
They were choking New Zealand at one point, right? Uh, where do you see India? India has a far superior Bumrah. Guptal can't lift his bat. Bumrah has crazy offers, right? So Bumrah, and now with Bhuvanesh Kumar wickets behind his back, Pandya is a Pandya. He's the ultimate all rounder for me for India. Where do you think New Zealand will go if they bat first? Where do you think would they score 300? Would they be able to get 300 plus?
the first 10 overs, if Bumrah doesn't get wicket, if
Yeah,
Bhuvi doesn't work, there will be a change in the game because New Zealand will bring their batting lineup deeper too.
they have a deeper bat.
And they have right now.
Henry
They have
Matt,
a
we can
very,
bat.
very deep batting lineup.
They can all bat.
And you know what? Williamson and Taylor, these guys have done very well against India. And that is always mental, pressure on the other team that these guys always score.
Well, how Yash was saying, they play spin better than anybody else.
In the middle
Yes.
of the ocean. And I
And
think
now I think if they play the spin so much, maybe they can bring the third Shami in and they drop one spinner. I don't know.
they will still go with two spinners because
I know.
anyway you back the spinners. What if Williamson or for that matter, what's his name, Ross Taylor, one of them is out? You bring in the spinner against the other players, and
Yeah.
they are going to work better. So I think they will stick with this playing 11. India is not going to alter. But if you ask me for the prediction, the team that wins the toss chooses to bat first is going to be my favorite to win the game.
That is what I said. Yes. Toss, win, bat. Because that trend base is not to be given for granted. Like, okay, I won the toss, come and bat, please. No. No way. Because the mentality will be like, okay, we scored 320. And then you again come with a chasing aspect of, oh man, we have to chase 320.
So Lucky, my thing is very, very simplified. I think my team to win is India for sure, based on the fact they're playing thoroughly professional cricket. Again, they're not overdoing anything. They're not exploding because India of the past has been they do so well in the beginning and then towards the end they start losing ground. It happened in 2015. They were the team to beat and they just lost all of a sudden. They lost the game they should have won. So I've seen that. I think they've got that in the back of their mind. I think Kohli is there to win the World Cup. It totally seems like he's very focused. He's
Exactly.
not overdoing anything.
Exactly. Yes.
This is by far, I think, the best captaincy and best planning I've seen from an Indian team. No word of a lie. Like, this is what I think. They're not exploring. They're measuring everything. They're not opening all their cards. It seems like they're playing a very tactical game.
That was the first game they showed, like, we are not showing you what we have,
No, yeah, they're playing a very tactical game. This is not the
Exactly.
India that I know.
And one or two more games, and then you see where they land.
You-
Because two more games are the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Or
Because,
New Zealand or Pakistan. Nobody can take anybody easy here.
exactly. Yeah, and yes, it seems like Kohli's brought some maturity into his captaincy. He was the guy who opened all the cards.
Yes, a lot of maturity. The next two games, India need to win one of it, and they are almost through to the playoffs.
But
Because
let them win the New Zealand game. They can
All
win.
last
one
three,
because
all
then
last
they
three are
have
there to win.
three games against West Indies, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Bangladesh. 4 games actually, which you would bank India to win at least 3 out of them very easily. So all they need to do is win one of the next 2. If they win 2, then they're surely through. Oh, that actually rhymed, but yeah.
So let them win the next
Huge
one and
game
then
is-
lose the one after.
Huge game is between England and India too.
Mm.
Don't
that's
miss
a
out
good
that,
game.
guys.
But that's the game that
To me, it's a basically a show game before the final.
it's the show game before the finals. I hope it's
guys,
the final, and I
remember
hope
this
they
one?
meet in the semi-finals because that will be a turn off. But if they meet in the finals, that will be a perfect final, and then the best team will win on the day. But I think we are going too deep into the future. But for now, you said Kohli's captainship. I was very impressed today.
Yeah.
And I think more than the captain, the human, the cricketer that he is, his gesture, I don't know if you guys caught that. The crowd was booing and calling Steve
Yes.
Smith a cheater
Oh,
at the boundary. He
yeah.
was batting, he walks up to the crowd and says, "No, why you should appreciate him
It
and
was
don't
like this.
boo him."
Yeah.
That is how you define yourself as the ambassador of the game. You can be the best batsman in the world, you can be the best cricketer in the world, but you won't ever be an ambassador of the game unless you have the spirit of the game. I liked it because a lot of times the sportsmanship that we talk about stays in the textbooks and in the commentary boxes, but not on the field. And this is what Kohli did today, and I was mighty impressed. Today I
So,
can call myself an official Kohli fan, I must
yeah.
say.
So okay. So I'm throwing another lucky for you, devil's advocate point. Last few times when India's lost, I've seen a disconnect between Kohli and Dhoni on the field. I've seen a difference this time. They're connecting really well.
Say this is what is happening. Yes, you're right. Kohli has been fielding in the deep, in the
Yes.
boundaries.
Yes. I've noticed that exactly.
And see how cool he is because he knows that there is another big cool guy inside.
Yeah. With the
So
experience.
this is working for them, and they have not brought this directly into the pitch. They have brought it from the dugout. That we have two captains. We are
Yeah.
not going against each other. We will be planning together, and that's what it is. You can see there. The mentality is so cool right now. They don't, what we say, go against each other's call if it is needed there.
Exactly. Okay, so we're closing in. Thank you so much, guys. We're up, and our time flies. It's been a wonderful, wonderful,
Oh, it's wonderful, it's fun.
wonderful conversation. Exactly, and I like the fact that you guys are saying India can win the next game, but then can lose the one after. I appreciate you saying that because they play Pakistan
I
after.
didn't say.
No Indian is going to say that. No Indian.
Sorry, man.
Anywhere in the world.
You know
No
Pakistan's pathetic. You know Pakistan's pathetic record
It,
against
it,
India in World Cup.
it's same. It's same everywhere. Nobody wants to lose, man.
You guys know that. No, I appreciate that. So we're over an hour. It's been a wonderful show again. Thank you, Yash, for joining us.
Thank you so
Having
much.
you here.
Thank you, Lucky. It was fun doing this with you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Yeah.
exactly. And Lucky, Lucky has a lot of great things to say, and it's always great to have him on this. And this is one of the reasons why we have such a huge followership now, is because of the quality of analysis we're getting. So thank you, guys. And guys, to all of you that are watching, thank you again. This is our first time doing it on YouTube. We've always done it on Facebook, but we'll be posting it on YouTube as well as on Facebook later. Having said that, we'll be back on, I think, June 12th. If you guys can join us, we're going to be doing a show post Pakistan versus Australia game, another big game in some ways,
Sure.
and see how that impacts the results of other games.
Definitely.
Perfect. Any last things to say, Lucky? Final prediction again?
Match against India, whoever is playing, the world will be watching like keep winning
Keep winning. Yeah.
because the other teams have already lost so many matches,
Yeah.
just to keep everyone's net run rate going around like closer to each other so that there is a chance of getting into that top four. Just pray for India to win all the matches.
And I don't know what other cards they have left to open. Like it seems like they're
Yes,
still
that
intact.
will be shown in two upcoming matches for sure.
Yeah, one.
New Zealand and Pakistan.
Yes.
2 points.
Yeah.
One, India and England are the two favorites, like it was before the tournament, but they have proven
They're
they
proven.
two teams of the top four. The other two slots are open. I wouldn't have said two before today's game. The loss for Australia today opened up opportunities for a lot of teams. They found the chink in their armor, which can be exploited. You saw Finch, a very angry Finch after the run out, which you don't usually see.
Oh,
There is
totally.
going to be some things going on there. Big boost for Pakistan. If Australia lose to Pakistan the next game, the table is extremely wide open. But if Australia win the next one, I hope not, Salman. But if they do, it's going to be the Australia that we know who come back strong.
True.
So still lots to play in this tournament and lots to talk about for all of us. Thank you from everybody, like including me from the International Cricket Network, ICN360. I hope to do this more with you guys.
Absolutely, yeah.
We'll have a lot more viewership, hopefully.
Exactly. And I think you raise a good point, and I'm just going to finalize on that. Two games that have opened the World Cup: Pakistan beating England, and then today. It just throws the third, fourth position wide open.
Wide open. Wide
Exactly.
open.
Exactly.
Exactly. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Okay.
open.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye bye. Take
Yeah,
care.
you too. Thank you.
Hold on.